Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by acoustichealth.com. I'm Laurie Reyon, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I am Laurie Reyon, and I'm so pleased to be here with this interspecies communicator, Laurie Reyon. Laurie has been working with the dolphins and the whales, and she's bringing through messages from these elders. These are messages of well-being and also new earth and the world that we are creating. I want to welcome Laurie Reyon back to the Quantum Conversations. Hi, Laurie.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Really looking forward to our time together today.
We can already feel the presence of the whales and the dolphins. Can you share with us, I know we've had you on many times before, what are some of the most recent messages for these times today that you'd like to offer us?
Well, what I'd like to say is the whales really are the elders on the planet. Most people don't realize, I certainly didn't until I started to work with them and communicate with them, that they have millions of years of experience here. You know, when they first came to the earth, they walked upright. They have humanoid bodies with 5 fingers and their now pectoral fins and 10 toes. And they're very tall, of course. They're very large beings. But over time, the earth was attacked. And, the history that before humans arrived here that we are existing as, they moved into the waters. And they survived, and they became water creatures, as you know now. But they have the blowhole. They're still mammals, and they breathe air. And they really just carry, the history of the earth within them. They access what we call the Akashic Records within the water molecules of the ocean. That's one of the ways. The other way is when you summon them to come to you, which we do for our healing work. They come in their etheric body, and they can access your Akashic Records through the air, in the sense of, or by scanning your body, and know all of your different lifetimes. So this is what they have said. We are your elders, and we are the molecular librarians of Earth's history. We embody conscious creation, which is, of course, what they're teaching us. And we have the experience and the intention to assist you, that's the humans, with core level healing. It is their intention to assist humanity in claiming our mastery as they have theirs, and embracing our physical healing, our physical bodies, and bringing us back to radiant health. So they're continuing to advise us to actively work with our dormant DNA, and that will naturally evolve. And we will become, as they say, awakened geniuses. Can't you just feel that potential is there for us to be like them? We will then live and create from our hearts, 24/7, not just part of the time, but all the time being in the heart. And we'll create global communities that are peaceful. And that will travel, of course, across the globe. So they say that we will repair the broken structures of medicine and education, government, and we will create sustainable living, which, of course, is part of what Laurie teaches with the New Earth. They want you to connect with them. And don't think that you need me to do that. You don't. I can certainly help you. But you can call on them. And this includes the dolphins, who are the toothed whales, and the baleen whales, who are the humpback whales, and other whales as well. But specifically, more today, we'll probably work with the humpback whales, as they have told us that their specific mission is to heal humanity. I mean, they're here for us. And one of the most important things I can share with you is just their sounds. The humpback whale song is so curative, so healing for us. Dr. Emoto and Dr. Todd Ovakaitis have proven scientifically that when we listen to whale sounds, humpback sounds, the blood chemistry in your body starts to change in 30 seconds. Okay, the crystalline structure of the molecules that are flowing through your bloodstream start to turn into star tetrahedrons, which is the Merkaba, or the light body. Now, no other creature we know can do that for you. Okay, so this is a scientific validation of the work I've been doing for 19 years. And I've been operating on faith. That's just who I am. That's how I was born. But it's so nice to have science start to back up what's been going on all this time with what we call the miracle zone. So when the whales come into our lives. So that's a little bit of an overview for you.
Thank you, Laurie.
You're welcome.
You know, quantum science is proving this science of love. It's the science of
Yes.
love, and the whales know this, and they're here. Well, I love the song of the humpback whales. It really is soothing in such an incredible way. And to know that our blood is literally changing when we listen to it,
Mhm.
that is just fantastic and really very important. So, when we are here to repair broken structures in education and medicine and all of it, even finances and business. So,
Yes.
when one connects to the whales to solve these solutions or these issues, I don't even want to call them problems. We're really building new earth
Right.
from the love of our heart. What needs to be done to connect? What's the best way to bring forward the elder information of the whales
Right.
into the new earth structures that we're
Right.
creating?
Well, the simplest way to begin with is just to play whale sounds in your home or in your car, because that'll start to change your vibration. And you don't have to do anything except that to begin with. The second thing they ask us to do, which is really the teachings of all of the animals, but the whales embody it, which is to move into our hearts. Okay. They want you to release the analytical mind. And I'm sorry to say that's going to be a challenge for most of you, because we were taught in school to use our minds to be smart. We were tested. We were told to compete with each other. We were told pretty much that there isn't enough to go around, and you have to struggle. Life's going to be pretty hard, all of that. And I really have to say, from the whale perspective and from where I live now, and I know where Loren lives, those are all lies. And you've been taught, kind of a bag of tricks, really, that will never work for you. And all of those teachings are based in duality. And duality is polarized, right? There's a right and a wrong, a left and a right, a tall and a short, all of that. But all of that is it's illusionary. It's part of what I would call the 3D hologram. So, and as soon as you can surrender that and you can really move your consciousness out of your mind into the heart, you will find what the whales call solution energy, because love is all that's real in its myriad of forms. Of course, the whales are the masters in teaching unconditional love for all life everywhere. There is no really in their world a good or a bad. It's not like some people are good and some people are bad. They're just making different choices. And I don't know about you, but I'm making completely different choices now than I did when I was younger. And I'm not saying I was a bad person, but I certainly was pushing the rules or the limits of what would be considered healthy, or, you know, um, along the lines of self-love. And I now know that self-love is the foundation for unconditional love. If you don't really care for yourself and see yourself as a divine being, which you are, you're going to have a challenge in life. You're going to have worthiness issues, and you're going to not necessarily believe that whatever it is you came to this planet to do, you can do. You might even think that Earth is your home. A lot of people do. They don't really realize that no one's from Earth. We're all camping, all here in disguise. And we come here to do important work. But part of the challenge, which is, really a story for another day, is that when this is over, and you make your transition, you go back to the light being that you are. And so while you're here, none of the negativity goes with you. Okay, that's all part of just the Earth experience. And the whales want you to, tread more lightly. I mean, to not be so serious. The fuel that fuels the physical form is joy. And how many people have 100% 24 hours of joy every day? I mean, wouldn't that be nice, huh? But if we realize the importance of that, to put that joy into your life, no matter what it takes, through your work, through your relationships, through whatever it is you choose to study, it just lights you up. This works for me because I've found my sort of niche, my passion, and it involves many things, not just whales and dolphins. My partner's a cat, but I really do realize the wisdom of those that are here living outside of duality, and that, of course, would be the animals and the angels. They don't have polarity, so they don't make bad choices in the sense of something that they want to go back and redo. So try to move out of good and bad and try to move into, I make this choice because I love myself enough to do it, and not worry so much about what other people think, because you probably know by now as an adult that you really can't change anybody anyway. I mean, you can try, but if you put all of the energy and effort, as the whales say, into working on you, on your vibration, you'll change more people just from the silence of that. You won't even have to say anything. As you come into the room, people will sense that vibration. And they'll do one of two things. If they want more love in their lives, they'll gravitate towards you and they'll want to be your friend and we'll have a conversation. If they don't want more love in their lives, they're still working with fear and negativity, they're going to exit. They don't want anything to do with you and you're not going to talk them out of it. That's just where they're at right now. So would you agree with that, Lauren? That that's sort of the whole,
Yes. Yes, I would absolutely agree. And I do hypnosis sessions. We regress people
right,
and we always bring in the higher self. And
right.
the higher self is reiterating what you just said there is
Yeah.
that first and foremost, it's us. Focus on us first. And there's no need. It's really interesting. The higher self is solution energy. It is heart centered. It is quantum. It is love. And so, yes, that's really important. The importance of joy. So, it's interesting if we're not feeling joy in our life, it's we can look at our cat, our dogs, children in the playground, or we can even remember a time we went out on a dolphin boat.
Mhm.
Or if one has not had that opportunity, we can just look at dolphins and feel the joy just from looking at videos of dolphins.
Right,
So really important. We're really here doing the opposite of what we've been trained. I really think that's the key to ascension is to do the opposite of what we've been programmed
right,
on.
right.
Um, you said, surrender that intelligent, analytical consciousness to the heart. It seems like what we're going through is a surrender to
Mhm.
love, right? And in the collective out there, do you see that maybe people will someday throw their arms up in exhaustion and surrender to love?
I
Will it
do.
get to
And
that point? Yeah.
I actually see it every day. Since the pandemic even started, I'm seeing more people. My business is tripled. It's people are coming back to, first of all, just being able to be home. And once they got over, the initial, whatever, the shock of whatever the pandemic was or what you think it is, or, the analyzing all of that and coming up with pretty much, well, this is how it is. And I'm home now. And then going within, finding, wow, this is pretty cool. There's a whole bunch of people I know in my world that will not go back to their jobs now, even if it was okay, or, whatever things would change and go back. They've learned that what's really important is what pleases them, what brings them joy, what brings them passion and creativity. And the essence of that is, I mean, you could look at the medicine of it, you can look at the physics of it, all of it. It's the emotional body that's in charge. Always has been, always will be. And the emotional body radiates from the heart. The heart is, I mean, it is intelligent, it is conscious, it is a quantum structure, basically, a multidimensional structure where your mind is, well, the dolphins would say, in about 30 million years, your brain will become more useful because your brainstem will have fully formed. If you look at a picture of a dolphin's brain and you look at ours, we barely even have a brainstem. We're still very polarized. So my partner says, when you're in your mind, you're doing the eternal ping pong game, which is you talk yourself into something and then you right away talk yourself out of it. In and out, I can do it. No, you can't. I can do it. No, you can't. I can do it. No, you can't. Pretty much all day long. And you may not made that conscious yet, that you're not really going anywhere. You're not creating anything sustainable other than just day to day, maybe, or week to week paychecks. You're not really creating what your soul wants to create, like your higher self, as Loren says it. The soul is driving the vehicle that is the physical body. And if you don't get in alignment with your soul, things aren't going well. That's just how it is. Your soul works every day to get you into alignment with the vibration of that which is love. And there's no better creature to speak to, talk to, communicate with, visualize than the whales because they're the elders. And I think we can all agree there is absolutely no substitute for experience. They have so much experience, not just here in this world, but on other worlds too. And they bring that here as a gift. They cleanse the oceans, they align the grid systems, they do a lot besides work with us. But that's because they have the experience and they've stepped up to that. So while we're here, not when we're on the other side, but while we're here, we're like toddlers. We're like little children to them. And they really want to help us. Okay, they really do. They love you.
Beautiful. Well, we're going to go on a journey with you in a video that you're going to share with us. I wanted to ask about a question that we get so often, and it's from those who care so deeply about the whales and the dolphins. Um, when we see the unfortunate, heart opening massacres of
Yeah.
dolphins and whales, it is a heart opening. It's hard to stomach that and treat it like that.
Right.
But there's something going on within us, and maybe that's cultivating a a call to action for us to step up in a whole new way. What have the whales said to you about these instances that weigh so heavy on our hearts?
Right. Well, I think most of you know that it's illegal to kill or harm a dolphin or a whale. And on the upside, let's go to the upside. Over 80 countries all over the world have laws to protect the dolphins and whales, even those without ocean borders. So there's a part of the human, the intuitive part of you, the heart-centered part of you, that knows if we harm the dolphins and whales, or we would cause them to go extinct, it would harm the human race. We're connected through what we call quantum DNA. So that would sort of make them your cousin. And this is, of course, why they can so effectively use their vibration, their sounds, and their love to heal you. I think most people can't even conceive of that. And again, 19 years of doing this, I still can't explain it to you. I can give you some ideas about how it works that will make you feel better, if you decide to do a whale healing. But the truth is, I hold space. I become the vehicle of their voice so that you can understand the message they want to give you. And I hold the energy while they come and work on you etherically. But nobody really knows at the subatomic level what they do, because it happens so quickly. They're able to align frequencies in your body at the subatomic level that would put your divine blueprint back in order, which helps you release disease and emotional blocks and residue, anger, pain, all kinds of things, all in 90 minutes or less. It's just amazing. So, but on the other side, lots of people, of course, over the years call me, they email me and say, can you just tell the dolphins not to go into the cove? Tell them, because they must not know they're going to be killed. And what the dolphins say to me is that some of them are born specifically to do that. They're born to go into that cove to try to open those fishermen's minds, because in the belief system they're carrying, they believe that the dolphins are harming their culture by eating the fish. And they obviously are in lack. They don't believe there's enough fish for everybody. Of course, that isn't true. And then of course, there's the economy behind it. By selling the meat, they make a lot of money to underground markets, basically. Okay. So, but the dolphins have said, we will continue to go into that cove. We will continue to work with these people to open their hearts. And one day they will, one by one, they will open up and they will come back to the truth, go into the heart, and realize that we're their friends. We're sentient beings. And I think when you're in your heart, I think we can all agree that there are animals, and you may not agree with this, but that come to the planet to be food. That's their whole purpose. And they do it gracefully. I think one of the ones that most of the people that are telepathic will say that cows come here to be food. That's one of their greater purposes. And in their higher selves, they lower their vibration, and they come here so that meat can sustain you. Now, I'm not telling you to go eat cows. I'm just saying that's part of the reason they're here. Cats are not here for that reason. Dogs are not here for that reason. Dolphins are not here for that reason. They have a different purpose. And there's an intuitive part of us when we tune in, we can see what that animal's path is, or what their vibration is, what they're here to do for you. And dolphins definitely are not here to be food. Okay, they're here to teach, and they're ambassadors of joy. They're one of the highest vibrational, or maybe the highest vibrational animal on the planet, being on the planet. So respect their intellect, their wisdom, and their emissary positions that they hold, because those people that are still killing dolphins, in the core of their being, they want to change. We all do. We all want to come back into alignment and remember who we are. Even if you haven't made that conscious yet, you do, and it's part of the evolution of the species, is to come back and remember. So let's just hold space for them, and hold space for the people that are doing it. My partner all the time says, you don't have to make friends with the ones playing the dark parts, but you do have to love them unconditionally. They are your brothers and sisters. And you can't really be on this planet as a spiritual master until you can love unconditionally. So it's the love that will change them, not the resistance. That's really important to remember. Yeah.
Mm. The love will change them, not the resistance.
Right.
Yes. And so, yes, beautiful. Well said. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
And it's going to happen one heart at a time, not all at once, because that's how it is. The metaphor my partner uses is, all the flowers in the field don't bloom on the same day, but eventually they'll bloom.
Eventually. We are forever, eternally optimistic on that, and we know so.
Yeah.
So you call this whale and dolphin energy light medicine. Can you explain that? What is that? Can you define it?
Well, I can try. Um, it started out for me communicating with dolphins when I lived on the beach down in Baja, Mexico. And I had 3 dolphins come to my house every day. And I was in a state of recovery at the time from an accident. And well, there are no accidents, but you know what I mean. I was going through a shift. And my cat at the time, an earlier version of the soul of Puda, was there with me and was asking me to communicate with those dolphins. They were very persistent. They came every day, and I'd sit out on this deck and talk to them, and they made their dolphin sounds. And eventually I got to the point where I could say to the one I called Simon, swim to the left, or twirl, jump up and twirl, and they would. So I would have a validation that they were hearing me. And then I started to trust it. And what I soon began to realize is we're really working with ancient beings. And we don't necessarily in our society associate an elder with joy and play. And so that was something I had to overcome, to realize that somebody that had the ability to jump up and twirl and play and be frolicking all day long is really an elder. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily associate it. But I learned from the dolphins that they are capable of affecting the genetic double helix, the DNA itself. So their special gift, and it was really enhanced with a new download that came to the earth in 2008. They were given the ability to start to work on human DNA, even those that are unawake, that don't necessarily acknowledge that the dolphins are doing that. And of course, these are not necessarily the dolphins in the ocean. I mean, it's extensions of their higher being, their multidimensional self. But right now, I have a swimming pool. And if you were here, I would take you out and you would see dolphins in my pool. You would see them with your eyes. Okay, they're not going to look like dolphins at SeaWorld or in the ocean, but you can see the form, the etheric, you can see the tail, see the nose, you can see them blowing bubbles and swimming in circles and opening portals, and then more will come out. It's pretty amazing, really. When it first happened, I was afraid. I thought, oh, there's ghosts in the pool, but
Wow.
I started to realize that the etheric beings can show themselves to you in water. Remember Nostradamus did that. He used to meditate and he would see things in the water. So in my pool, we have dolphins. And so I always go over to people that have pools. I say, want me to put some dolphins in your pool? And then you can talk to them every day. But it's healing to swim in the pool. They call it living water because they enhance it with their codes. So anyway, we'll get back to what is energy medicine. So it started with dolphins without me really realizing that I was feeling better. I was being healed in their presence. Okay. And then I think May 12th, trying to remember now, maybe 1999, the first whale came into contact with me. I was sitting out on this jetty and I was riding. And the jetty was part of a little harbor that was being built in La Salina, which is in Baja. And this whale came by and I was, way out there on the rocks. And at first when it came up, I thought it was a submarine. It was like, whoa, why is the submarine coming up? And then I saw the eye. And the eye looked at me and it was transformative. That was a huge thing for me. And it was Mother's Day. I mean, imagine that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I
And
mean, it came so close to you that you could see the eye.
yeah. Well, I was out on these rocks. So,
Yeah.
and then it just came up and then it just paused. It was there for a while and just looked at me. And I just started crying. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It was a huge emotional release for me. And I felt the connection from the heart. It's just amazing. And soon after that, I started going to a shaman circle in Mexico to the fire ceremonies. And I made friends with the shaman. He used to come to my house and hold ceremonies. And anyway, one time he was holding the fire ceremony with a group in a circle. And when the journey was over, he asked me to come into the circle. And he said, I want to tell you what happened. He said, because of you, I was able to journey out into the galaxy further than I've ever been before. And I saw you working with the whales. And they were standing upright, but they were huge beings. And they were working on like the human body. And he said, so I'm going to call you Standing Whale Mother. And I was so embarrassed. I hadn't really made a very big connection with the whales. I certainly didn't understand my part in it. But now I respect that because he saw something in me that, I needed to see. I hadn't yet claimed it. And part of the reason is, long story short, is I had severe seasickness in those years. I tried many times to go on a boat. And I was just so violently ill. So I had to heal that, and I chose to do that. And then I started doing the boat trips and the retreats for people. and translating the messages that I got from them. Getting a message from a whale, though, is completely different than getting a message from a dolphin, because the whales will give messages that are similar to what I just shared. They're for everyone. They're sort of worldwide. They're, cosmic wisdom, so to speak. The dolphins will talk to you about what you had for lunch yesterday. I mean, they'll talk to you about everything. And they'll advise you, and they'll laugh with you, and they'll play, and they'll tell jokes. And they're like your buddies that want to keep you in a cheerful, happy vibration, And so calling on what I call spirit dolphins to come to you is really, really important. So all of this started the ball rolling to where I was moving into realizing that they wanted me to do healing sessions, and I didn't really see myself as a healer. I didn't understand. So then I would say in the coming year and a half, light beings would start to visit me on the beach. And it was a very safe place for them to do that, because I soon learned when they appeared up here, like I also had a house in Chula Vista, helicopters would start to circle and things. They could track that vibration, military people and so forth. And I know people were following me in other cars, and I was like, this is kind of yucky. I wasn't afraid of them, but I thought, this is yucky. But down in Baja, they didn't have any way to track that. And so they could come and spend hours with me. And I soon realized that most of the ones that were coming were Pleiadians. And they talked to me a lot about the fifth dimension and about, they are our brothers and sisters of light. They're benevolent. And they wanted to accelerate my ability to understand the whales and my part in all of it. So they asked me to create a healing workshop, a healing seminar, and introduce them. And they would sort of be like the overlighting presence, but to bring in what they called the whale codes. And that's done basically through sound and by laying people down and summoning them to come. So they come in what we call the living Merkaba field. And it just, like for now, explain if you had a healing and clearing session or a light body activation, the whale will come down around your house, and it's huge. It's bigger than your house, okay? And the Merkaba spins in two directions, spins clockwise and counterclockwise, and then there's a part of it that's neutral, it's stationary. So you don't necessarily have to understand that, but this is how it works. They spin, the part of the Merkaba that spins counterclockwise aligns with the earth, the vibration of the spin of the earth. And they bring in massive amounts of the violet flame. In fact, they are the violet flame. They embody it. And I'm speaking of the humpback whales. So they clear, this is what they say, they clear every cell, every molecule, every atom, every subatomic particle, every fractal, forwards and backwards in time, because they're not linear, in multidimensional realms. And so you can expect amazing stuff to happen, both physical and emotional. Meaning if you've got deeply buried emotions or anger, they can help bring that up. It's like they scour it out with the violet flame. But at the same time, Merkaba that's spinning clockwise is the vibration of God. It's their higher self. It's celestial, angelic even. And so this white light, it's like a blazing white light with golden specks, comes in and immediately fills the cells that have been cleaned with the violet flame. It happens simultaneously. It's like nobody else can do that I'm aware of, that can clear you and restore you with God's light at the same time. So you start to feel fantastic and you get a lot of energy. And of course, we've just experienced a lot of miracles this last year and the year before, a lot of breast cancer, a lot of, misaligned backs and bones, people that have had, like even a lady who had her back broken, it was realigned. Some with sight, I had a somewhat restored sight to one eye. Everything you can think of, I've just seen it, and people, for the most part, they feel better and they feel empowered. Often after doing a series of sessions, people will go out and they'll just change everything. They'll quit their job and they'll start something new, and they feel supported. And see, that's the key to success, isn't it? Is if you feel supported, you feel that nothing can stop you, that this is a part of who you are and your soul is driving. The whales are right there with you. And that's what happened to me. My whole life changed. And I was already doing some animal communication, but when I started with whales and dolphins, it was really feeling my way through it. I had no scientific knowledge. I hadn't studied them in school. I was just trusting my telepathic abilities, and it started to work. And over time, let's see now, 4 years ago, a little more than 4 years ago, the white whales came to me, which is another story if you want me to tell. These white whales are here, and you may have already seen pictures of them. There's 12 of them now on the planet.
It's
And they come,
amazing. It's not just whales, it's white lions and
yes,
white horses and white, there's other animals that
and
I'm,
there's a white dolphin too. Yeah,
and
yeah,
white
Trinity.
dolphins. I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing. What is that whiteness?
Well, I think it represents the higher vibration. But what I know from the whales is that, okay, in 2011, my partner, Master Cat Buddha, said we're to go to the island of Kauai on March 3rd, 2012, and we're to go to the Stargate, which I didn't know about, and we're to be there when open the Stargate, and the white whales will return to the planet. And they haven't been here since the time that the planet was created, before there was humans. So they're coming back for the ascension. They're coming back to help create the new Earth and to prepare humanity in their light bodies for those that want to make the jump, right, to the next dimension. So they're going to help with creating light body. And I thought, fantastic, you know. So that's a lot of stories within the story. But basically, we went, and 68 people went with me. It's like they all wanted to go. It was a pretty big prophecy. And they did come back. And of course, we thought it would all be energy, that they would just come in their etheric bodies. And that I didn't really know what would happen after that. But in the coming year, we were making our movie that year. That was 2012. Yeah, we started out then. And my filmmaker sent me a picture of the white whale in Australia. He's known as Migaloo. And she said, they're starting to walk in or be born. Look, here's a physical white whale. And he's still like the poster child. So I have a little message from, anyway, that whale to me carries the mother energy of the mother white whale. I mean, she's not physically here, like, but I mean, her energy, you know, is in that body, and is like an ambassador, like Flipper was way back when, you know, to help people connect to dolphins. Anyway, so they said that when they work with people, they'll create templates of light. And so now we have 12 templates over the next 3 years happen to me. And that's the basic format. So if you enroll in our school, or you call me, or any of our practitioners basically that have graduated from the Whale and Dolphin Energy Medicine School, the first thing that'll happen is we'll set you up with the whale healing and clearing. And again, they'll blaze the violet flame through your body, and they'll set your intentions with what you want to release. They clear old contracts. I mean, even off-world contracts. It's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Then if you want to continue, then we start you with light body activations, and the white whales come in a circle around you, and we identify them by name. First, they were given a Lakota name, which is kind of a long story, but they came in using the Lakota language first to communicate with. And then they moved into what I call a cosmic language. And they did that with me over a period of about 3 years. They'd come in one by one, and they would tell me who they really are, and what they basically thought that they could do to be a partner with me to activate the school. And so people could understand that. And they told me the names of the light bodies and templates and what people could expect from that. And so that's what we call module 1. It's part of our school. The module 2 is the bottlenose dolphins that have ascended. There's a council, and they told me their names, and they come in and they will specifically work with activating your the DNA itself. There's 12 strands of DNA in the human form, which is the basic avatar. You're all basically an avatar that's gone to sleep, and now you're reactivating yourself. Way back from the time of Atlantis, basically, is when we were stripped down to 2 strands of DNA. So we're bringing that back now, and they're able to clear the pathways for the telomeres to rejuvenate. It's also an anti-aging program, because, you know, when your telomeres don't break off, you stay youthful, and you carry a lot of light. And that's the intention, is to see a human that can carry more light, which is wisdom, right? It's healing. It's who you really are. But ultimately, we'll be able to carry more light. But you can't just throw that at somebody, because it's the frequency's too high. It's like sticking your finger in a light socket. It's a gradual process. And so when we do series of activations for someone, they're about 2 weeks apart usually. So the person can integrate and work with the energy, sometimes even more. So anyway, so there's 2 paths now with the work that we're doing. One is to do this for yourself, to expand your own consciousness and create a healthier, lighter body in the sense of the vibration and the wisdom that you carry, and getting more in tune with what your soul wants, so you become part of what we call the soul family, because we're all working collectively for the same things. But each person has a special niche, right? A special gift, more than one usually, but and we help. You may not know what that is yet because you haven't awakened to it, but believe me, you have very important things to do here. And the whales and the dolphins are the best ones to me to advise you or suggest to you. They won't do it for you, but they'll give you a lot of information and research, your own DNA. So that's powerful. And if you like, we can talk a little bit about enrolling in the school. In January 16th, we start our 4th year. of people that will do 30 hours of training with the light body and module 1, and then they'll go into module 2, which is working with the ascended dolphins and working as an epigeneticist with the dolphins to activate the DNA. And so then we combine those sessions ultimately, usually about the 3rd or the 4th session, we combine them. We'll work on the DNA, and then we'll lie you down, and the white whales come in and do their magic. So it's a double whammy. You get both, which is pretty great. So, and if you do it with the sense of I'm a healer, I love the idea of working with dolphins and whales and being their voice, then you go into internship and you start working on people you don't know, not friends and family and classmates, and prepare for the real world, right? And so then you graduate after you complete your internship, and we support you, and we all work together the first year to set some guidelines on what you'll charge. So, we're all kind of in alignment wherever we are. Last year, we were in 13 countries, 4 languages, and everything's, being translated in a package basically for all the languages. So wherever you are in the world, for your clients, let's say you're in France, they won't have to listen to an English meditation, right? It'll be the same ones that are in English, but they're translated. So the whales told me that this would go around the world in less than 6 years, and it hasn't even taken 6 years. It's just going to continue to grow. And the people that are actively working the program are making a good living, and they're helping so many people with these techniques. So it's pretty exciting.
That is really exciting. I want to take a quick moment and interject and let people know how they can take advantage or take the opportunity that you're offering right here on this webpage. I'll put a link in the chat line as well, is your special offer. And you've got a connection to the whale medicine school, and you've also got a workshop coming up, the Merkava workshop you talked a little bit about.
Right.
And then there's also a special offer. We'll talk about each of those later, but these are just beautiful ways that people can begin to work with the whales, and
Yes.
those who they know who they are, people who even have a love for the whales, a deep affinity for the whales. They know who they are, and it's time now to bring this forward for our planet, for
Yes.
healer practitioners to get this out there. Because when we put together all the stories of experiences that people have, whether it's in meditation or it's out in the wild with the dolphins, those stories are confirmation. I mean, just some of the stories that you told about, like, did you say someone's spinal column got realigned?
Yes. Yes.
And that's amazing. And I remember someone else in one of your groups mentioned about being in the water, and the dolphins just came and put like an effervescent bubble loop around them. And it was just
Yes.
this amazing
Yes.
experience. And we're just elated with the dolphins, and we can use them. We can use them here. So,
Absolutely.
mhm.
Yeah. So is this a good time to show a couple of film clips, or?
Yes, we would love
Yeah.
some film clips. Yes, you've put
Okay.
together such beautiful
So I should just share the screen?
programs. Share the screen.
Okay. All right, here we go. So this is a message from the dolphins and whales. This is a message from the whales and dolphins for humanity. The dolphins are emissaries of light and work closely with the Pleiadian beings to assist everyone in becoming a conscious creator. The dolphins can assist you in going deep within yourself to find the truth that lives within your heart. The dolphins ask us to connect with the divinity within ourselves and truly connect with our souls. They remind us that the soul is the consciousness that we incarnated from, and that which we will ultimately return to. Our physical bodies are just an expression of that part of us that embodies a higher power and consciousness. Our souls want nothing more of us in the physical than for us to be happy and live a joyful and magical life. It is only through creating joyful feelings that we can achieve a higher vibration and can truly connect to and communicate with our higher selves. So the Dolphins Message is quite simply to become aware of how easy it is to monitor our thought forms and just choose to change them if we find our thoughts anything other than joyful. Simple, but profound. Remember, to think is to create, and we are the creators and co-creators of the world in which we live. The universe is one living, breathing, conscious being, demonstrating interconnectedness and oneness. The incarnated whales are an example of the all-loving, all-knowing consciousness that came to planet Earth to be a steward for Gaia and for humanity. As a species, the whales and dolphins are the most spiritually and intellectually evolved souls in our world, and they anchor the light beamed to Earth from distant sources. Using their living light fields, known as the Merkaba, they align with the frequency and resonance of Gaia, or Mother Earth. The whales have held the highest incarnated vibration on the planet for eons, and also hold the resonance or frequency that is the heartbeat for Gaia. We would not have survived these many years if the whales had not chosen to use their vibration to balance and steady our beautiful planet. The end of polarity or duality is nearing. The responsibilities the whales have held for humanity is now being shared with many humans as we awaken to our true selves and choose to take our power as children of Creator Source. We are reclaiming the true dreaming state of the living heart. This is true creatorship. What this means is that through exercising intentional evolution, we are entering into a time when thoughts will manifest very quickly into our dimensional realities. Because many of us have chosen to awaken to the truth of our soul's journey and become conscious creators, we are now able to connect with the super sentient, ancient cetaceans we call the whales. The whales are the ancients, the elders, and are the greatest healers we will know throughout our many journeys and lifetimes upon this planet we call Earth. The whales ask you to call upon them often to realign your auric fields and your organ systems. They remind you of the phrase, "Ask, and you will receive." It is their honor to assist us, and they come in joy and in a state of bliss that can best be described as living in oneness with all that is. The dolphins and whales intend that you will find great love and joy in your heart each day and find a way to share it with another.
Yes, beautiful. Just feeling the energy from hearing the whale sounds. It's amazing. Call on the whales to realign the auric field and the chakras.
Yes.
Do we just, is it as simple as that, or is there another protocol that you use?
You can just call them, just your intention. They're waiting in a sense to be called. And if you're wanting something specific to happen based on your intentions, obviously we encourage you to contact us or to take a look at our school if you're considering doing some type of healing work and becoming a practitioner. It's very powerful. So I'd like to follow that though with a little message from the dolphins so you kind of get the overview. Is that okay? I'll show that. Right.
Beautiful, Laurie. Thank you.
Sure. Dolphins and DNA. The dolphins have shared with me that they are the designated keepers of the human DNA template system. They receive infusions of DNA activation through the Earth's ocean systems from Creator. It is their given task to process this information internally and calibrate the actual DNA that is perfect and right for each person. The dolphins also hold the energy of love and joy for the actual locations on the planet that are experiencing war and chaos. The dolphins work to create frequencies that are infused into these areas on the planet with templates of peace, harmony, and healing. The dolphin matrix supports DNA re-encodements for people and places throughout the energy code systems they use. The dolphin family of light has created a template for the human DNA and uses it to monitor the overall template for the pure holographic possibility equation for humanity and Earth. If you choose to connect with the planetary dolphin family, you can receive these attunements directly from the dolphin group consciousness. The dolphins are the masters of DNA recalibration and are able to shift old energies very quickly with their healing frequencies. Also, they work in a frequency of joy and playfulness that is perfectly suited to the energy of ascension and the new Earth. Beloved humans, please listen to your hearts as the energies accelerate during 2012 and beyond. Call upon the dolphin energies as they are the chosen emissaries of light. Their communications will be of valuable assistance in helping you to align with the crystalline grid system, your personal DNA upgrades, and the dolphin matrix systems that are assisting in creating the center for the new Earth. Also know that the dolphin matrix of energy is assisting with the cleansing and balancing of the Earth's oceans. Currently, many scientific experts are saying that DNA plays a powerful role in newly discovered communications between dolphins and humans. One ongoing study at the Sirius Institute in Hawaii has revealed that dolphins and whales receive and transmit sound signals capable of affecting the genetic double helix. Using natural biotechnology, dolphins can actually heal humans swimming near them sonogenetically. 14 years of multidisciplinary study at the Sirius Institute has indicated that the expression of DNA, traditionally considered the blueprint of life, can be changed by the sound and electromagnetic fields generated by dolphins. New research shows that our DNA is activated by waves and particles of energized sound and light that literally switch genes on or off. Likewise, genetic inheritance is energetically transmitted bioacoustically and electromagnetically through special water molecules that form the electrogenetic matrix of DNA. These hydroelectric structures are shaped like pyramids, hexagons, and pentagons, and they direct the healing processes. This amazing phenomenon explains how remarkable healings have been reported by people in our boats near the dolphins and by swimmers following dolphin contact. The cetaceans have had complex language for millions of years, and they have the largest brains on the planet. Visitations by dolphins and whales have demonstrated a history of friendship and cooperation, and even partnership with humans. The dolphins and whales have shown us that they are the ancient and wise, supersentient beings on this planet. They are living examples for we humans, showing us how to live in peace and in harmony with our planet. We encourage you to connect with the dolphins and the whales each and every day, energetically, telepathically, and in the physical oceans whenever you can. The dolphins and whales are the living, ultimate expression of how we humans can begin to live in our hearts within the pod mind, which is demonstrated by living for the good of the many, not the one.
Wow. It just brings to the question this connection with water, the water molecule, the DNA, our existence on Earth, but also the off planet connections. And are dolphins ETs?
Yes, they are. Yeah. Dolphins and whales in this galaxy originate from the planet Sirius B. Yeah, they are. But you know what they would tell you is you're also an extraterrestrial. No one's from Earth.
We have to wear clothes. We're the only beings that have to wear clothes. We're obviously not from Earth, right? Yeah.
So, embrace the extraterrestrial part of yourself and connect with your star family because they love you.
Yes.
Another thing that is important, I think, for us to start thinking about, as soon as we give permission now, we're either conscious or unconscious creators. You're creating every aspect of your life through your intentions or through joining into a collective that's negative, and you're letting that guide your life instead of guiding it yourself. So the more awake we become, the more responsibility we can take on about the choices that we make and guiding our own life through the influence of the soul and the influences of these wise beings that really want to help you. At the end of that last channel, remember they said it's not about the good of the many. It is about the good of the many, sorry, and not the self. So when we move into this higher consciousness of co-creatorship, we know that there's nothing to hide. There's no need for the word privacy. I mean, not that you couldn't have, but you don't need it because we're all telepathic at that point. We all know what everyone needs. If someone down the street has a sick baby and they need milk, you go bring the milk. You just know. You'll know where to go, how to help people, because we'll be tuned into that. And you'll teach the children from the moment they're born that there's plenty of everything for everyone. All we have to do is distribute it properly, to share. And that sharing is what makes love real. Everything else that's away from love is pulling back. Remember, love is expansive and fear is contraction. It's pulling away and separating yourself from the good of the many. So that's the main teaching of the dolphins and whales, is they have evolved to a place where all they feel is love, and you are not going to knock them out of that. There's nothing you could ever say or do to harm their vibration. And that includes killing them, because they just love. And they understand that there's a possibility that in your unawakenedness as a human, you might harm them, but it doesn't really harm them because they would just step out of their body and reincarnate. So it's not, sort of like shopping. They'll just come back with a new dress. I don't want to encourage people to kill dolphins and whales, but you see what I'm saying? They're aware of that possibility. And that's built into their sort of contract when they come to Earth. If there's a possibility that their service will not yet be recognized.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the blue whales, we harpooned them almost into extinction. And what they say is, it's okay. It's all right. I mean, we went through that. Same thing with the gray whales. We almost brought them to extinction down in Baja in their lagoon where they went to birth and to mate, And now that that's over with, they bring their babies to the boats. Talk about the epitome of forgiveness.
Right. Yes. I mean, it's a great example of forgiveness.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, I wanted to go into some questions. We're going to take questions from our Zoom audience. To
Okay.
get into our Zoom audience, register at acoustichealth.com. Those will get you into the Zoom audience in our next shows. For now, we'll go to our Zoom audience, and Caroline, you can unmute yourself and ask a question.
Oh my goodness. Well, am I on mute still? No, I'm not. Okay.
Hi, no,
Thank you,
hello.
my beautiful Loren. Thank you. And Laurie, if you can see my face, I've been blubbering the whole time.
Oh,
Just crying, but tears of connection,
Really?
just beautiful, like laughing and crying at the same time.
I can relate.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I bought one of your packages in 2017 and done a few classes with you. And I have my Andara, a couple Andaras here that I bought from you. So
They are
yeah.
powerful.
Oh my goodness. So a question, is there a question? The school mentorship program. This is just words, right? So it's not ego or anything, because I'm just so grateful. But I'm already a powerful quantum healer and animal communicator and so much more. Would the internship still help? First question.
Well, it would expand your abilities to work
right?
directly. You begin to work directly with the white whales through module 1, and module 2, you'd work with the ascended 12 bottlenose dolphins that calibrate the DNA. So any other form, this is one of the first things they say, it's like a disclaimer in PowerPoints that we use, is that any other form or realm of light that is in the sense healing works perfectly with them. They don't claim to be the end all. They're not gods. They work directly when they're working with someone, as you know, with that person's soul, even in a group.
Mm-hmm.
If your soul of that person says, no, you can't heal that they're not ready, there's something that's still going on that they're learning by having that particular disease or that particular level of resistance, then they can't touch it. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, they just do as much as they can in the realm of resistance, removing, and helping people come to a level of forgiveness they can understand. Old contracts and cords, even allergies, any type of health malady. It's just absolutely amazing, and all the other things that you do that are of the light would work in harmony with that. So
wonderful. But
it starts January 16th. It's every 2 weeks on Sunday. You don't have to attend in person. We hope you can, but realistically, we do go all over the world in the different time zones. The first year I was concerned because we had some people in Australia register, but they were able to do it through the replays, even though the time difference was huge, so
wonderful. Okay.
It seems to work in that way. And so there's module 1, and then about 2 weeks in, the class votes on the dates for module 2. Usually we'll take a week or two's break between them, and then we start in with the dolphins, and then we start combining them. So you start to understand how to facilitate that session, those types of sessions. But the truth is there's no 2 sessions alike. Every human is different. So it doesn't get boring. You bring in the same techniques, but with each person's going to have different questions, and they're going to have a different energy. And the beautiful part is you become very telepathic with them. People say that, oh, I can't do that. Yes, you can. The dolphins and whales, they push through, and you'll hear them.
Yes.
You will. Even the people that had the most fear were able to do it. And they'll give a personal message that's always profound to the client when they come out of the meditation. So each session is personalized.
And I can't say enough about having purchased your package. I might purchase it again, but just for kindness purposes. But I can't say enough of the depth of energy and kindness and love that's within the package that you're offering. So I everyone, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And with the school, you get access to all of the meditations we use in school to take into your professional life. Okay. So you don't have to go out and create your own. You can if you want to, but we give you hours and hours of meditations to choose that are appropriate for the different templates, okay, to use.
Yes.
But they're not locked in. There's a lot of leeway to where if you have a client that's going to do several hours with you, they won't be bored. They won't be doing the same thing over and over. There'll be new aspects that'll be brought in and new teachings. And today we can just touch on those, but get an idea of the wisdom of these creatures and how they begin to share your connection to that wisdom. And that's unique for each person, isn't it? So it's very,
It's beyond, all the way to the light and back.
yeah.
If there was a
Right.
message just for me today as to my next step in,
Could you say that again, please?
a message for me today, what's my personal next step in my evolution? I just retired from a 33 years job, and I'm teaching full time, and I could be busy 24 hours 7 just teaching classes and clients. So, but
Yeah.
I'm also taking more time to myself because I'm off the clock to just meditate and be in nature. And I feel that that's just like the next step, but yeah. So
Well, there's definitely a calling for you here. You don't have to answer it. You don't have to, spend a significant part of your life working for dolphins and whales to help the world, but there's definitely a calling where you've done this type of work in other worlds. I'm hearing it. They're saying that this is sort of you're at the end of an old timeline and the beginning of a new timeline, to where you now want to really accelerate your transition into light, into carrying a light body in your physical form, and stepping into access even deeper to your own divine life blueprint, and how your uniqueness can combine with this super sentient beings. So that's awesome.
I completely agree. I love you both so much. Thank you. Thank you,
Carolyn. That is
it's
beautiful.
my beautiful.
And congratulations on your new phase, your next
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay. So I have a question here that I'm going to get to in just a moment, but I wanted to just point out as well that the package that was mentioned and the course, the upcoming course of the Merkaba and the school, there's also a link to that on this webpage that you're looking at. And again, that link is in the chat box as well. So a question that came in from Heather, I noticed this as well. It's very interesting that the dolphins are working with the Pleiadians. And that's what Heather realized. She is connected to the Pleiadians. And today was the first time that she learned that they are working together. And Heather says she also works with dolphins and whales in healings. She uses scalar toning to heal people, and the dolphins help her with the sounds. Can you talk about the sounds on a quantum level? She says, I know I'm healing people with my voice, but I don't know how it happens, but I believe the dolphins are coming through in my voice.
Right. Well, the dolphins and whales have shared it's their intention to prepare the human to be, even while we're still here in the 3D world, in a 5D reality, or a 5D vibration, if you don't mind my saying so, which would be multidimensional. And of course, this connects us directly to the Pleiadians, as they're the keepers of the 5th dimension. And also it's preparing a pathway, or a rainbow bridge, if you will, for you to navigate back and forth. I mean, there'll be times when, as much as we say we don't want to be in 3D, we will be, because we're still human. So it's continuing to keep that pathway open and expanding and connecting to the dolphins specifically work with rainbow light, where the whales work with the violet flame more and the celestial light. You'll see violet flame, coming in and clearing, as I talked about, and then you'll feel the vibration of the white light of God with the gold specks, which is alchemy. Okay, but the dolphins are rainbow color healers. They work with the colors and spectrums of that, which brings in the energy of the new souls, the new children, even the unicorns and the fairies, the energy of the elementals, bridging us back to, again, our own true selves, which we were very connected to all beings that we're now pretty much invisible to most people, but yet they're still there. So the quantum level is in the DNA. It's in the, when we study the DNA with the dolphins, they put it in the DNA into 4 categories, and layers 1, 2, and 3, layers 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9 are Lemurian layers. That's taking us back to the first lifetime we experienced on the earth, which was 5D, and we had no word for lie or misbehave, or we didn't even have the word forgiveness yet, because nobody had ever hurt anyone. Isn't that amazing? But it's the last category, which is 10, 11, and 12, which we call the God layers. And that's where this quantum energy comes in, that connects you to yourself all over the cosmos, basically, that you exist in many places at the same time, and that you can access the wisdom of that. So to make that more understandable, you could think of something that maybe you wanted to do, or maybe not. I shouldn't say that because that limits it. Maybe you haven't even had a thought around this particular thing that they're going to activate. They're going to go in with your soul's permission to the DNA, into those 3 layers, and they're going to activate mastery that's stored in your DNA from another lifetime. Now, that lifetime might be on Earth, it might be in another planet, but it's there. It's like, let's say, for example, in another world, you played the piano or musical instruments beautifully. You were here, if you started to do it, would be considered a prodigy. But basically, what's happened is you've activated the DNA that already was mastery, and you brought it into this lifetime, and you could do it without practicing. That would be considered a prodigy, right? It's also dolphins activating DNA, and your higher self working with that. So for me, I used to run a big dance school, performing arts center in Los Angeles. I did that for 20 years. And through all of that, I still had a fear of public speaking. Like even when we did musicals, I never wanted to play a part with a speaking part. I just wanted to dance. And I never wanted to go out in the big shows that we did and talk. My husband always did that because he was, an actor. So I could always avoid it because I didn't want that. So after my near-death experience and after starting to work with the dolphins and whales, this public speaking thing was activated within me. And I got a job when I was in recovery doing weddings as a DJ, which forced me to speak, right? Like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. and Mrs. Johnson to the dance floor for their very first dance, And now I can't shut up, So the public speaking thing was, they told me, from a lifetime in Greece, I think was the last time I was a public speaker, a philosopher. And so they brought that forth. And all of a sudden it just, in just a very short period of time, I went through the fear, and I realized how much I enjoyed it as opposed to feared it. So I remember even seeing my ex-husband after I had taken this leap, and I was doing the weddings. And he said, "What are you doing these days?" Because we hadn't seen each other in a long time. We were divorced. And I said, "I'm doing weddings. I'm a mobile DJ now." And he said, "Why are you lying to me?" And I said, "I'm not lying to you." And he said, "You can't speak on a microphone. You can't possibly be a DJ." So he couldn't even fathom it, So that's how much I get to see change in people's lives. Stuff that's just, they can't even realize that they're going to do, that's in their mastery, that's in the quantum DNA. So something to look forward to.
Yes. Awakening our mastery with the help of the whales and the dolphins.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Mm.
Laurie, would you take a moment? We've got an upcoming workshop with you, the Merkaba.
Yes.
And you mentioned a little bit about it, but can you share for us the Merkaba workshop and also the new special offer that you have with like Star Galactic, knowing our star family and those good items too?
Okay. Well, the Merkaba is coming up. I think can you help me? Is it November 17th? I think so. Yes. Okay. And so part of my awakening, my spiritual awakening, came through studying the Flower of Life teachings with Drenvalo Melchizedek. So this particular teaching is his teaching, and I seldom ever teach anybody else's work. And it's not because I don't want to, it's because the whales and dolphins and Buddha have taken over my life, and I do their teachings now. But about once a year, I come back and I teach the 17th breath meditation, which is the activation of your living Merkaba. And so Drenvalo would tell you that most people don't have an activated Merkaba, which is your living light body. Okay, so it works in partnership, of course, I realize now, with the work the whales were going to give to me, which is creating the light body through these different templates. But I studied the Merkaba, of course, with Drenvalo, and then I studied how to travel in your Merkaba, which is very useful when I connected to the whales, because they want to merge with you if you study with them in that way, and they'll take you to other planets or other places, let you have all kinds of experiences by merging with you. And that, for people that don't yet know how to travel on their own or don't feel comfortable traveling on their own. So this workshop is the activation of your living light body. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for a newbie in the sense of just waking up. It functions on your ability to love yourself. So if you can honestly say from the core of your being, I love myself, I am a divine being, I am divinity embodied, and I'm ready for the next step. I'm ready to reach a galactic frequency where truly the galactic family will start to communicate with you in a new way. Okay, so it was really the beginning of this portion of my life taking off. People that I'd never met called me. Somehow they called me at home, and people wanted to help with the movie I was making. And I had no movie making skills. I didn't have a budget, but yet I was trying to honor the wishes of Buddha to create this movie called Ascension Guidance. And it started to click, and it's incredibly beautiful now. And anyway, all kinds of things happen by studying with Drunville and activating my own Merkaba and seeing the difference in the colors and the vibrancy. Your Merkaba, when it's activated, the disc that pops out from your living light field will go out 55 feet all around you. And when you start to energize that, it can even go out further, several miles even. You can affect your community in a very positive, loving way. But again, it's for the rest of your life. Once you activate it, you can't take a day off. You don't get a day off. You show up every day and you use at least the basic words, which will teach you to re-energize it every day. It's like a top. It's spinning and then it starts to spin down. Boom, you need to re-energize it. Okay, from the physical form, because that's how it works. So I highly recommend it if you're ready. Okay, and you're ready to make that shift into this new frequency. Well, it's not new. It is your frequency, but it's one that's probably been dormant. Okay, so exciting. And what was the second part?
Yes, absolutely. So that's a beautiful workshop. Thank you for that. That's a standalone online event. Again, the link for that is on this webpage.
Okay.
And the next one is a bundle of offerings, including your ascension video
Right.
and the star, knowing our star galactic families.
Right.
Yes.
Right. The cat I speak of, Master Cat Buddha, who's been my partner now for so many years, about 10 years ago, she told me that her soul aspect was Seth. And if you've ever read Jane Roberts' work, she was one of the first people to channel Seth. It's an ancient, ancient soul, perhaps even the first soul that came to Earth, full of wisdom and humor and love and gratitude. And so I resisted that because, come on, I was the mom of a cat. I'm thinking, how can that be? Well, as soon as you think, how can that be? Of course, that's how it is. We shouldn't be limited in our teachings or our thought forms. But that's particular information has come to me through many hours of sitting and listening to what Seth would say is cosmology classes, to remember who we are, to remember the starseed experiment that happened 204,000 years ago when we were all reseeded because our DNA had fallen into two strands. And the councils of light decided that we weren't going to make it on our own in our free will here. Earth was still too dark. And so they reseeded us in our DNA with 12 different races of benevolent beings, including the Pleiadians. And we were given the opportunity to become the avatar that we are through the awakening that would happen in the next 200,000 years. And of course, it's happening right now. When we fully awaken, of course, we will ascend. Nobody exactly knows how that's going to happen in mass, but we don't know it's going to happen with the assistance of our higher selves and the assistance of the Pleiadians. And the more you know about the history of the Earth in that way, and you connect there's an exercise that's given in the class where you go back in time to the star Antares, where this decision was actually made by these 12 emissaries. And you connect with one of them and they'll lead you to your star family. So it's really amazing work. It's really powerful. I think it gives you a sense of peace that maybe you didn't have before. For years, I thought I was a Syrian because of my love of the dolphins and whales. And it turns out I've just spent a lot of time there on that planet because that's the planet of genetics. That's where you get your body built, so to speak. Once you decide to come back to Earth, you design your blueprint in what we'll call the higher realms. You get permission to come, you choose your mom, you choose your dad, you choose your birth date, all of that. And then when you get everything in alignment, you go to the planet Sirius B and you give it to the geneticists and they build the etheric body. And that's where it's stored. Okay, you've probably heard the word fired in the etheric. And the dolphins and whales, well, particularly the whales, are upright beings there in their natural form. And they're doing their magic, to build like the bones first and then the muscle structure and so forth. And then eventually it comes to Mother Gaia. And then, the elementals build the physical body with the elements of the earth itself. So it's a long journey to become human. It's a lot involved. And Seth is, really the teacher if you're interested in this knowledge and that you can have. So anyway, I opened up to my true star family, which was Orion. And I could go on and on about that because I've been studying it ever since. But I was mistaken when I thought I was Syrian. I was just comfortable going there, and being there and working there. But that's not who I truly was in this galaxy. So I hope I'm making sense.
Amazing. Yes, I would think that you were Pleiadian.
Yeah.
Maybe you're parts of that as
Well,
well.
we all carry Pleiadian DNA. Cryon would say 3 to 5%.
Okay.
So the Pleiadians are instrumental in seeding all of us in the heart energy so that we can open to love. And some people are full-blown Pleiadians. I have a couple of friends that are, but Other than that, you're probably one of the 12 races that star-seeded you, and gave you of this DNA that will eventually help us create, again, the golden child, or so to speak, the avatar that we are, coming back into our true form and our mastery. So very exciting. I mean, we study the history of almost everything. Why not the cosmos, right?
Yes,
Mm.
absolutely, the cosmos, and then that recognition within us only enables us to understand it even more within ourselves. So
Right.
beautiful work. All right, and I just want to say again that that package, there's so much in there. That's just one course, and that course alone is worth the entire package offering because you've got other courses in there aligning with your soul's purpose, animal communication,
Right.
and a bunch of MP3 downloads from the dolphins and the whales. So
Right.
it's
Guided
beautiful.
meditations,
Yeah.
and messages. And there's a CD called Laurie Reyon and Master Cat Put to Speak, which is, if nothing else, that CD has the most powerful meditation maybe I've ever created. It's called Entering Your Sacred Heart. And it's from the Flower of Life teachings on how to do it, and how to take the mind, the energy from the mind, and move it into the heart. Everyone should have that. It's a signature meditation. It's very, very powerful. I still listen to it too. And it has other things on there as well. There's a time travel from Master Buddha, which is very real. It's very powerful. So it's people, a couple of groups of meetup groups that use that to, once a month they get together and they time travel for benevolent reasons. And Buddha's sacred song is on there, whale meditations. It's good. And
Yeah.
yeah, and the Merkaba teachings as well are on there.
It's a beautiful package. And again, way more the value than what you've put on it because it's got so many integers and items in that package. Thank you. It's available for our beautiful viewers, our listeners and viewers, and you can check that out again on the link that's accessible on this page or this description box. So, Laurie, thank you, thank you, thank you for this magical time. As we wrap our session today, do you want to share any message? Is there a message you want to read or maybe something for our group?
Well, the energy I'm feeling right now is coming from this vast being I call the mother white whale. In her energy, she shows me she's about the size of Jupiter. So she can't really come to Earth in a form, but her spirit comes in through different aspects. And her name is Watakiti. And I have a little message from her that I'd like to share. She says, I am Watakiti, the great mother white whale from the cosmos. I represent the kingdom of ancient beings that first arrived on your planet some 300 million years ago. As you know, we are the ancient of the ancients. We are the soul of the souls. We represent cosmic and galactic stewardship of this planet and all of humanity. We are here to assist you in your awakening and in healing your bodies and preparing for ascension. The whales are the molecular librarians of Earth's evolution. We are the keepers of the Akashic Records that live in the oceans of planet Earth. As the waves of illumination come to your planet, we ask you to integrate it into your hearts willingly, asking for a vibrational increase and the calibration of your very own DNA. We will assist you as you join with us in bringing your collective vibration into the waters of the planet. We are all connected through water, and we will access the information, circulate it, and contribute to it, thereby raising the overall vibration for you and for the planet. So connect, integrate, and then receive the vast infusions of Creator's light and love as it freely comes through your sun to your planet. Remember that light is information, and we are all asked now to become carriers of more light in our physical forms. This is done through personal and collective intention and through spiritual magnetism. Let us join together now through our collective love and the memories of the truth of who we are. Please know that you are loved and supported in every way beyond your imagination. We bring you and this planet great blessings. We are the cosmic white whales, and I am Watakiki, and I love you. Namaste.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for the high vibrational message today. It literally warms our heart and we feel empowered, and we feel so connected with the dolphins and whales. I know that everyone watching and listening is making that connection. It's so special. And for that, we are forever grateful for everyone doing that. Thank you, Laurie.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so
Thanks for
much.
having me. Blessings. Mm, mm.
Let's see. There is a coronavirus whale immunity healing.
Yes.
And you guys, that's good in all the ways around. We're not going to go into duality, but no matter where you are on your journey with any shot or vaccine or not, this is something that can help you. So,
Yeah.
Laurie, you want to share anything on that? Because no matter where we are, no matter what we've done, it's all beneficial.
Yes. When the pandemic first broke out, and that was a year ago, March, I said to the whales, how is this affecting the planet or me or others, or what can you do about it? Can you do anything about it? And they first told me that no, they couldn't do anything about it, but that they would try to find out. They said it wasn't created naturally. So it was outside of the realm of what they would normally be able to do without permission. And that they said that the souls of the people are still integrating this it sort of came out of, sideways. It wasn't necessarily planned in the soul contracts. So there wasn't a lot of preparation for it. So they said to give them 2 days, and then they would come back, and there would be a speaker, and the speaker would give me an update. And so that's what happened. Bendakata, as one of the white whales, came back and said to me, they had received special dispensation to create a process that's ahead of its time. It's something that was from the future, to bring it into the here and now, to create a healing, I guess you would say, for the coronavirus if it's in your body or around you. And then to put an immunity shield of light around you that was alchemized with gold light. And if you studied the Ascension and you're working with colors, you probably know the gold light was a part of our future. Right now, we were in the silver light. We'd come through the prismatic rainbow light, which we were in for many, many years. And we just started to move into the silver light, to where the blood and all of your organ systems were starting to carry silver. And the gold was the final step, as far as I understand, before Ascension. So they brought that back from the future, and they were able to put an immunity shield around each person. And it's not something you can do for anyone else. It has to be one-on-one. It's your personal decision to work with the whales in this way. And so I think now, here we are in 2021, the best I can tell is we've been doing it for about 100 people at a time the first year, over and over and over and over again. And Loren's been promoting it. We know about 8,000 people have done it successfully. And it changes the auric color also around you. We've had people photograph their auras, and let's say maybe they were green and now they're gold. So it's pretty amazing. They seem to have unlimited power once Creator approves something for them to bring to the planet. So it takes about an hour and 15 minutes to do it. And I advise you to do it, when you're in a very sacred place. You really open your belief system, and you follow the recording of it. It's a PowerPoint, and then you lie down to receive the healing. And then, as far as you keep your belief system in that vibration, it will be successfully intact for long term. Okay.
Yes. Beautiful. And the good news is that's available as a single item, a single option in
Yes.
Laurie's special offer. So you can immediately download that and work with it as many times as you want. It leaves you feeling joy. And in my personal experience, it removes fear. That was really
Yes.
very dynamic for me, is witnessing the fear that was removed from that process.
Yes.
So beautiful tools that the whales and dolphins are assisting us with.
Right.
Laurie, thank you so much for this quantum conversation and this experience with the whales and dolphins.
It was my pleasure, my joy. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone for being here. We are thankful of your light. Thank you for amplifying your light and sharing your love always, in all ways. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Laurie Reyon, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.